Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Urshka. I'm the marketing director at Whisbi, and I have Sab Hammond here with me. He's our director of operations. Before we get into the presentation, maybe let's give people maybe 2-3 more minutes to join and connect and so on. I can see the number of participants is growing, so that's good. How are you today, Sab? Are you ready?
I'm good. I'm ready.
Share your wisdom with us.
Yeah. No,
We've had such an big interest in this webinar about remote agents. I guess it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Everyone's in the same situation in most countries, so it's getting pretty crazy out there.
Yeah, how is your team? I guess it's pretty busy these days.
My team's, yeah, they're not bored. They've got a lot to do, let's just say.
Yes.
So yeah, we got lots of interest. It's good to see.
That's great. All right, guys, let's get started. I'm going to share our presentation for today. We'll put together some slides. I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay, so how are we going to help you guys transit your sales team to a work from anywhere environment? Most of those environments are actually going to be home offices, probably for most of you. We have all been kind of surprised by the impact of this COVID crisis and the virus and how it could accelerate different digital transformation trends that we've seen happening in the past, but not so strongly as now. Like even before social distancing, home was becoming kind of the logical headquarters for a lot of busy people looking how to make better use of their time. But telecommuting and remote work have been on the rise for years. We all know this, but not for all situations, especially not for workers that work in showrooms, stores, and so on. So prior to this pandemic, mobile searches, for example, for remote jobs had increased by over 200% over the last 2 years. So remote jobs are definitely in demand, and more companies are looking for ways of moving their workforce to work remotely. But in the short term, we have to, find a way to be helpful and try to meet the most basic needs, as well as from consumers, also from our employees, and adapt to this new normal environment and try to understand what it all means in aspects of our industry, where our home also becomes our headquarters. As you can see behind me, I'm also working from home, and so is Seb, which actually we're one of the lucky ones, right? So let me just quickly introduce Seb. He's our director of operations. Today he takes care of 3 vital teams here at Whisbi. That's front-end team, our developers, implementation team, and support team. Before that, he has also successfully built and managed Whisbi's customer success team and the implementation team. Previously to joining Whisbi, he held various customer-facing roles at very important software companies such as Softonic and even Facebook. That's a very impressive bio, Seb.
Thank you, Urshka.
Thank you for joining today's webinar and sharing, as I said, your knowledge and your experience with us. I'm sure all the participants are very eager to hear what you have to say on this topic.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Let's quickly jump into the agenda. So we're just gonna quickly introduce the conversational sales concept to you guys and kind of see how conversational sales fits with working from home. Then we're gonna look at different applications and types for remote agents, and also benefits of the Whisbi Assistant platform that can support your remote teams. And at the end, we're gonna jump into the onboarding that is designed for enterprises. And as a bonus, we're gonna share some client examples of how we have supported remote teams for our clients. So what is conversational sales? Conversational sales, the way we defined it, is a way to connect your brand with customers on your website in real time using different conversational tools like chatbots, voice calls, and also video. But when looking at this in a broader aspect, we compare traditional sales with conversational sales to maybe help you understand this concept a bit better. So in traditional sales, we're used to like 0800 phone numbers, call centers that are actually not the best place to attract talent. You have high attrition and low salaries, very expensive infrastructure to take care of. It has low scalability and big fixed costs. And often we see low conversion rates and not the best customer experience. But when we try to transition that kind of traditional call center environment into a home-based or retail-based agents, you can get really the best talented sales reps to do the job. It can be 100% cloud-based and powered with different AI tools, such as lead scoring, so that your agents can serve your customers better based on their previous browsing behavior. It also has high scalability, flexibility, and you can base your salaries on performance, because we see really good results using conversational sales tools. And also your company can see high conversion rates and greater customer experience. In this slide, I would like to share with you a research that I found the other day. It was actually made by Google, and it found that only 5 million employees in the whole United States can now work from home less than half time. So that's only 3% of the workforce. And of course, it's normal that people are opting for ways to avoid physical interactions and in favor of digital ones. And in these uncertain times, companies are for sure, as you are, considering how can they adjust their business activities and the ways to stay connected to your customers, but also prioritize the safety and well-being of your employees. So we can already see how this crisis has accelerated digital transformation for many companies. And we hope that this webinar will give you some answers that you're looking for. I would like to start first to get some idea of the audience today here. So I prepared like a poll question for you guys, if you can answer for me. And the question is, do you enable 100% remote work in your company at the moment? So I'm going to launch a poll right now. It should appear on your screens. The answers available are yes, no, in some departments, and other. Here you go. I think now you're able to answer. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to do that.
We should have some game show music or something.
There is no wrong answer. I just want to find out.
So I guess while we wait for some answers, at Whisbi, we are 100% remote work enabled. We discovered this very quickly, right? We've never done that with everybody before. I don't think every department has had a chance, but to be working remotely. But we've with the whole coronavirus pandemic, everybody now works from home, and we've managed to do it in quite a short space of time, which is really cool.
Okay, I've just got some feedback over the chat that the poll is not appearing for some of the attendees, so I'm just going to try to relaunch it again. Give me a second. Maybe you guys can tell me if you can see it now. Yes, all right, now I'm seeing answers coming in. Great. Sorry about that. Technology, right? All right, a couple of more seconds. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to share results now with you guys. So almost 50%, 44% answered with yes, which is great. No, 22%, and 32% said in some departments. So I'm guessing those departments are usually like headquarters of big companies. Like if we look at automotive or retail sector, when the stores and dealerships are closed, it's very hard for them to enable those workers in those locations to work remotely. So this is something that we're going to actually look at today. So if we look at Whisbi and our clients, I can happily share this information that just in the past 2 weeks, we have successfully migrated over 140 Whisbi agents to work from home. I'm guessing, Sab, your team had a lot to do with this.
Yeah, we worked hard, both in my team in the ops department, also alongside the customer success team. So making sure that we first understood what our customers needed. So it was all very, very fast moving, right? Everybody had to keep their businesses running in the cases where they could move agents and workers to work from home, and then we applied some small changes in their campaigns, being existing clients of Whisbi, and they were able to move agents from sort of stores or from call centers to work from their homes.
That's great. I'm sure they were very grateful for that.
Yeah, I think so. We're seeing some really great results as well because of that. So business continuity, the big topic right now, and it's definitely been possible for a number of our clients now.
That's great. So yeah, when I was like digging around for different content about this current situation that we're facing, I found this interesting article that was published by Forbes, and it was a Gartner research that says how even before the COVID crisis, like companies were really struggling to adopt different digital tools to meet the consumer demand. And they have been kind of playing catch up in the past year. So digital transformation really was not quick enough in comparison to how quickly the consumers were adapting to new digital technologies. And they wanted to see those also when interacting with brands. And the research showed that 84% of consumers were disappointed with digital services they encountered with businesses. So basically, I think that in these uncertain times, satisfying customers' expectations for digitalization can really be the difference between staying in business or shutting down. If you can enable business as usual, let's say somehow through online or digital technology, you're going to be able to retain more clients. But yet businesses that successfully transition to effective digital service will be for sure rewarded in the long run. And also another research that I found on Forbes was related to low effort or high effort interactions and how customers really expect that low effort streamlined interaction. So like if we fast forward to 2020, technological innovations are already powering much of our daily lives as consumers. Nearly anything can be purchased on Amazon. You can order a taxi just by tapping on an Uber app, and like you can transfer money through Venmo and other apps. So the entertainment also, if we look at Netflix and Spotify, it's like everything is very effortless and it's just a click away. But yet when we look at digital transformation in different businesses that are more traditional, we see them very unprepared in times of crisis. And considering this, we just have to, find a way of how we can easily make almost everything possible online through digital means. Even looking at, I don't know, banks, for example, you can do a lot of things with your banking app online, like transfer money and so on. But then when it comes to opening a new bank account or remortgaging a mortgage and so on, you always need to go at least for 60% of the stuff back to the actual physical retail branch to do so. So yeah, again, just emphasizing the fact that low effort interactions not just cost more, but are also preferable by the customers. So the less channels you have to switch to complete the task as a consumer, the better it is for the brand. Saying that, I have another poll. I hope it works in the first try this time. I would like to find out which channel are you using to connect with customers online currently? Right. I'm launching the poll now. Please let me know if you can't see it. It should be live.
And this one's multiple choice, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I can already see the answers coming in, so that's great. It's working. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now. So here are the answers. 47% said that they use chat, 33 use chatbot, 27% 0800 numbers, 27% video conferencing tools, and 53% web forms. So I can see there is probably a combination of various different channels, which is kind of what I was trying to say in the previous slide, that having a lot of different channels, it can be sometimes very confusing for the customer. So yeah, we're going to look at different things and different options of how you can do that maybe in a better way for the customer, and also in the end for you to save cost. All right, Seth, would you like to quickly just explain to us some benefits of conversational sales?
Yeah, of course. So, well, basically, conversational sales is just getting that that more human approach, really, when it comes to sales, even if it might be a bit more of an automated system that's doing that. If it's a chatbot or something that is presenting options to customers, it's doing it in a conversational way. It's getting people to interact in a way that we're a lot more used to doing now. So like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, people are used to texting back and forth, getting certain kinds of responses. So if we can replicate that kind of interaction, then you know, the theory there is that you can improve your conversion points, you can improve the ultimately the happiness of that consumer as well, because they're able to go down the route that they want to go and get the right information that they need. So some of the points here, of course, is that you're able to first of all differentiate yourself from your competition. So make sure that the competition, make sure that you're different in the market in the way that you're interacting with your customers. Do something new, do something innovative. Friction points are reduced. So these classic web forms, which everybody uses, everybody's kind of, you know, stuck to since the 90s, I think, on the internet. Like you just have to have a web form, because if you don't, then how are people going to get in touch? I mean, you know, that there are much better ways of doing that, and conversational sales is definitely a way forward there. And
totally agree. Like, there's nothing worse than browsing on my phone and coming across one of these forms that every single line takes me to a new page, and it's just like never ending, and I'm like, oh, I just want to buy something. Never
ending amount of like collection of information, and then asking you questions you don't ever need to be asked. And it's the classic kind of abandonment that you end up getting, the rates of abandonment that a lot of companies suffer from with using these sorts of interaction points. Of course, you want to wow your clients as well. You want to get real-time engagement there. If you're not connecting with your customer straight away or almost straight away, then you are gonna ultimately have the highest chances of losing them as well, right? So it's very unlikely that you're going to sell anything through web forms only, because you know, people just don't like to self-serve in that way. So so we've definitely fully embraced conversational sales inside of our product, and it's showing, you know, great results. So it's increasing those conversion rates online for a lot of use cases, you know, automotive, telco, and so on. It's improved customer experience dramatically. So we're seeing great NPS scores coming out of these interactions, and sales cycles are shortening. So so you're able to sell more and faster, which is great.
That's great. So which brings me to the next point. So it's time for all brands, in especially traditional industries such as automotive, telecommunication, insurance, banking, to start digitalizing now. If we compare ourselves, you know, to previous world health and economic crises that happened in the past, we're in a much better position today to keep all the public and commercial systems going despite whatever is happening out there. But many businesses simply haven't made the transition to digital, despite the fact that technologies already do exist. So I think this is the time to really accelerate your digital transformation and, you know, just start taking advantage of this. I put here some examples that apply. For example, for automotive, we have seen virtual showrooms come to life in the past months or years even, and also having a lot of home-based agents that are just serving those online customers and helping them with car configurators, which can be very confusing, if I'm honest, at least for me. Also, insurance companies and banking, you know, they can have virtual agents that you can raise claims online, or just try to go beyond what's available on the mobile app and really be there for the customer and have that one-to-one interactions with somebody. And for telecoms, we're also seeing a lot of virtual shops popping up where they build like a space that looks like a store and has a couple of agents inside that are taking online requests from customers, and they can show them different devices and really advise them on bundles and different kinds of packages and add-ons, which also brings us to a better customer experience in the end.
Yeah, I would definitely add here that we have, you know, this current COVID crisis, the coronavirus. You know, it's forced a lot of these, a lot of companies to have to, you know, adopt very rapidly these this digital transformation, even if it was going kind of against what they had planned, or maybe it was something that, yeah, okay, we're going to do that in a year or two or whatever it might be. It's now number one on everybody's list. So I'm sure you guys are all in a lot of the companies that that have been connecting today to listen to this webinar, that you're experiencing huge spikes in traffic on your phone lines, on email channels, and these things have become unmanageable in a lot of cases. So in some customers' cases that we work with, they've told us that they've been overloaded. They've had to shut down a lot of their channels because they can't manage it.
Yes, which brings us to different applications for your remote agents. So let's have a look at what you can achieve. So looking at showrooms and stores. Seb, would you like to comment?
Yeah. So this is one of the pieces that we have a lot of experience in. We've activated many virtual showrooms. These can be sort of spaces which have been customized and built specifically for the showcasing of a product, like a car, for example. It'll be closed off from the public, and you can show those vehicles off using fixed cameras, using cameras on a smartphone, and walking around, giving people walkarounds, one-to-one walkarounds, to explain to them exactly how great this product can be. You know, you can apply that to pretty much any physical product. We can also bring this kind of concept into real stores as well, so enable those store sales representatives to use the same technology, and also live stream products, and really get that wow factor out there, really get people excited about products, not without them having to actually physically go inside of a store. They can do all of that from the comfort of their own home, and make decisions on products based on what is being shown to them by a qualified sales representative or expert.
That's great. Yeah. This brings me to this slide actually, where we compare, you know, how you can go from dealership to a home-based agent and vice versa. And basically it just explains how, you know, for the benefits for the customer, for the brand, and for the dealership. So dealerships now are closed, so that's clear. Most of them anyway. So customers can still get the best-in-class customer experience in real time with your advisory approach. So you can still connect all those agents that you had working in dealerships to your online leads, and they can be, you know, connecting in real time through our technology and explaining with, I don't know, through a car configurator or maybe pre-recorded videos of those cars, and getting those offers in. For the brand, it's amazing because they can keep the control over the communication and sales. You can write, you know, sales pitches for them, or tell them exactly what they should be saying about a certain car. And also for dealerships, because they are going to be receiving very highly qualified sales leads for their pipeline, which is basically a win-win for everybody. Okay, in the next application, we have call centers.
Yeah, so we've been enabling call centers to basically enrich their communication with their customers in a much more fulfilling way, right? Using our technology, so the agents are able to, first of all, we're able to influence and help guide customers into the right channel, and then once that channel has been identified, send calls through, send customers and leads through to that call center that's relevant for them. and we can enable that into any call center setup. We've done it all, like all the PBX setups that you might have, all the CTI technologies out there. You know, we also have worked on mixes, so you might have, you know, a call center backing up people that are working in smaller call centers or stores, or even working from home. So it's a very flexible system ultimately, but it also is pinned heavily inside of the enterprise world, which is very used to using outsourced call centers to manage their major channels.
Yeah, I think this is where our clients saw the biggest strength in the past 2 weeks of our system, is that although we had everything set up in their call centers or showrooms or stores, we were able to enable those agents to work from home basically in a matter of hours. So this brings me to the last use case, which is home-based agent.
Yep. So yeah, kind of natural follow-on from that, really, because it's quite light technology. You're able to expect pretty much most people working from home, or most people just whatever setup they may have at home, even if it's their own personal laptop, everything is browser based, so they're able to directly connect through their browser, and away they go. So it's just having the login there, meeting a few basic requirements. Obviously, a stable internet connection is a must. And the system, we can set it up very quickly to send those leads to the right agents, and ensure business continuity, as we have done right now during the crisis, but also outside of the crisis. You know, this is definitely the direction that things are headed anyway. So enabling those work from home agents is it's a very important piece, I think, and becoming much more important in a lot of businesses now. And it gives you access to a lot more, so many more options as far as hiring is concerned as well. So you can enable people that wouldn't usually be able to work for you because of their location. Well, now you can do that.
Definitely. I forgot to mention at the beginning, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the questions and answers part on here on the webinar tool, and we're gonna get to them by the end of the webinar. If we move forward, let's talk about benefits of our platform for remote sales teams. So basically, let's explore our powerful conversational tools that can help you win more customers and deliver higher quality experience. Okay, so omnichannel is like a big word in retail, especially. So we just wanted to, you know, build a solution that enables you to connect your customers from whatever channel they're coming from to your sales agents in real time, and replicate the effectiveness of a face-to-face sale process online. So if we look at the first benefit, real-time video, Seb.
Yeah, so I think we covered a bit of this before, as far as why is this useful, you know, so we're able to showcase products live to a customer. The big thing here as well is that, you know, there's tons of solutions out there, right? We're the first ones to say it. There's WhatsApp, there's Google Hangouts, there's a whole plethora of applications out there that people can use to video call and what have you. Now, that's great at a B2C level. That's great at a customer to customer level, right? So personal use and so on. But as soon as enterprises start to use these technologies, it can become quite complex. And also you end up putting up a bit of a barrier. So with our real-time video, what it comes down to is that on the agent side, it's very easy to use. It's very easy to set up and start using. And most importantly, on the client side, they don't have to do anything. They just need to be on your website, on any standard browser and device, and away you go. There's no app needed. There's no permissions. There's no plugin. So it's been built around universality. And it works on pretty much any combo. You know, you might have problems on, I don't know, Internet Explorer on BlackBerry, but you know, there's not many people on that anymore. So yeah, it's a really universal solution for delivering real live video to customers.
Yes, and also like seeing that over 70 or 80% of web traffic comes from mobile devices. It's good to mention that it's been our design the way we design our product is already mobile first. So there's no issues like adjusting the video to the phone screen and so on. Like everything works perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah.
The next one that is worth mentioning is web sharing. I think this one is a cool one.
Yeah, so web sharing, the video is there because people are with visual animals. We have to see these things, right? Before you make a commitment even to something that might not have such a huge price tag, you still want to have a look at it, right? And then you can, and then it just opens up things for you to then start asking questions to that expert, that salesperson, to find out more and see what actually works for you. But after having seen it, and once you've made your decision, you've made your conscious decision on something that you see, you need the specifics, right? So that's where web sharing comes in. So an agent is very quickly able to switch to a tab that they have open and start sharing with you the relevant material. So it might be a configuration of a phone plan. It might be a car configurator, right? Getting all those different pieces together. Which of the 6 engine types work for me? There's these configuration tools are amazing. They have so much in them, but the problem is that very often most people switch off halfway through because they have no idea what they should be choosing and what the differences are. So this is where you have that one-to-one personal experience, and that web sharing piece allows the breakdown of this complex information into easy to understand parts, and the agent is ultimately holding your hand through the whole process, guiding you through it, showing you what you need to be looking at, and then could even complete the whole configuration and even the purchase on behalf of you, the customer, if if your system and if your policies allow that. Otherwise, it can be, you can refer them to any other technology you might be using for online sales. So maybe it's sending a final link via email to complete a purchase, or put in a credit card, or do a DocuSign, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So Whisbi's there to just enable that, that visualization of that material that is going to make or break the deal.
Great. And then last but not least, we have live messaging and bookmarks.
Yeah, so just nice extra pieces here. So we're seeing an image here of what it's like for the sales rep or the agent to be using Whisbi. It's a bar that appears on the left-hand side of your browser. It's always there, and you're able to very quickly choose the different features. So these features are bookmarks to start with. We have a little space there where you can save bookmarks of pages that are most relevant to your typical sales process. And when you click on it, it will open the browser there, and it will instantly start sharing it for you. So it will interact with the browser that you're using, and just push that content straight to the customer and allow you to use it straight away. And chat, of course, text chat. We all know text chat. Live chat. That's included inside of this as another tool. So during your voice conversation with the agent, whilst they're seeing all these features on screen, they're seeing material about the things that they want to see. You can also be sending through information, maybe reference number. Maybe the customer needs to send your difficult to spell name, like Blagojevic, for example. Yeah. So these things are always accelerated when you can sometimes type certain things. So you can do that kind of back and forth, and be able to ultimately speed up the whole process of getting a sale through.
Yeah, it's really great. Thanks. All right, let's touch a bit on onboarding that is designed for enterprises. This is your specialty.
Okay, let's do it. So yeah, we just a second. Something funny on my screen. So yeah, when it comes to onboarding, for having worked only with enterprise companies, so I've been at Whisbi for 5 years. I've been in the kind of client-facing sphere within Whisbi that entire time, be it from customer success through implementation and now operations department as a whole. It's given me a lot of sort of visibility on just what causes friction and grief for a lot of these large companies, right? So there's certain processes that they always have to go through. There's certain things that always have to be ticked to be able to continue with a project. It's not as simple as just kind of like delivering one thing and then expecting everybody to suddenly know what you're talking about and do it. You have many different people to speak to, different types of people. You'll have your decision makers, you'll have your operational teams. So,
And
we
also, I
are,
guess, existing systems, processes, so
yeah,
on.
we're fully used to working with all of that basically. So we have tons of experience with balancing all these different teams, understanding what information to send where, looking at understanding that marketing, for example, marketing launches have to happen on a specific time and date. So we have to work towards that, and we can't let that be missed. IT and security is a big one, right? So you can have everything sold internally. You can have all the decision makers, everyone's on board. They love what you want to do. And then someone from IT will say, well, guys, there's a massive red flag here. What happens with the personal data? Are you GDPR compliant? Whatever it might be. So these are things that we're always ready for. And because we have built the system around this, we're fully GDPR compliant, for example. Also, I think it's the CCPA, is that what it's
Yes, the
called in
California.
California?
Yeah.
So we are fully versed in that side of things. We have gone through multiple audits and security compliance procedures for companies. So this is not something that phases us, basically. Which
I remember when you were working
no
on the
problem.
Vodafone global contract for months.
Yeah. So but that's typical. Anyone working for a big enterprise right now that's tuned in will know that these documents are 500 tabs of Excel with multiple questionnaires, and it can take weeks or months to get everything through. But we have the team for it, so yeah, not a problem.
Let's hear about that team a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, the team basically, we operations is a department, but we work very closely with customer success, as we mentioned before, and the relationships that we have here with our customers are that our sales team has already got a very strong relationship and continues to have a strong relationship with clients that sign with us throughout the course of a project and beyond. So there comes a time, of course, once the customer begins working with us, once you have a project scoped with us, then implementation will be there to onboard you, provide you with everything that you need to get started, and they will guide you through towards the launch. Post-launch, we have the customer success team that is there to take your project to the next level, basically. So get that performance that you need, make sure that they are that everything is being done as it should, and that the technology is being used to the best possible potential. So there's tons of information there for you that you'll be provided with when it comes to what is successful and what isn't, business cases, best practices. So we're there, the customer success team is there to make sure that your project is a success. For us, your successful project is our success. So ultimately, we have to make sure that happens, right? We don't want someone. It doesn't make sense for us to sell you sell you technology that then you do not use ever, and then we never hear from you again. That's not how it works. So it's a long-term relationship, and we make sure that we throughout the whole period as well that we're looking after you with our 24/7 customer support team as well to help with anything that might be happening during your use of the tool as well. So.
Yes. You were mentioning like all the clients that we work with and our experience, and I think this slide really sums it up well. We worked with, and are still working with the biggest brands in auto telco industry specifically. So there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of successful, less successful projects that we have learned from a lot, and all this knowledge, it's being shared with our customers through your department.
Yeah. So all the different setups, all the different configurations that can be there, every company, even if you are, let's say, I know, a major telecommunications company, you will have a direct competitor in your market, and perhaps you run things quite similarly. But then when you actually go down into trying to launch a project and what you need that project for, it can be worlds apart, right? So the application of our technology can be completely different, even though the vertical, the products may be the same. So we adjust to that, and we pride ourselves in fully scoping a situation and understanding exactly what's needed, and delivering what would be the most successful option for your company.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the client examples that we prepared for today to share with you guys. I already put here some logos. We're going to talk about the 3UK project, Vodafone Germany, and the Volkswagen Group in the UK, which they currently have 3 brands, Seat, Cupra, and Skoda, using our solution. So let's start with the 3UK. So their project is called 3Live, and they're using our broadcast solution, and they have 4 presenters who are actually now working from home. They have been given tablets and devices. They have at home their Wi-Fi, so that's all they need is just a tablet with an app where they can start live streaming in a matter of minutes. Initially, at the start of this COVID crisis in the UK, 3Live was actually one of the only channels of contact for 3 UK customers. So the company, like the brand, really sees the value of our solution, and they are extremely happy with everything that's been happening since then. Our presenters, as I said, were provided with devices, a mic, and they were given like 3 branded backgrounds, so like really quick fixes to make sure that everybody can work from home quickly, and they can continue with the level of like branding requirements and so on. So they are live streaming from home. And actually, they also started to use their discovery team, which is a separate team from this 3Live project, who have like always interesting topics and do like trainings on different apps or devices, how to use them best. So during this crisis, they started a new campaign. They also onboarded those discovery team agents, and they are also broadcasting live through our broadcast app. And actually, they haven't received any specific training like from us or anything like that. They just got a tablet with an app, and everything is so easy to use and intuitive that they were ready to broadcast, as I said, in a matter of minutes, which is amazing. And looking at their project, they have had over 20,000 questions asked just I think in 6 months last year, and they've done over 2,700 hours of broadcasting time, which is amazing. So I also spoke with one of the decision makers there, head of omnichannel for 3UK, and he's really seen the value, and the whole company sees the value of this project and how it's getting them closer to their customers, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think they're doing about 7 hours of broadcasts a day now during the during this this lockdown period.
Yes.
And yeah, they're doing a great job. I've tuned in a few times, and it's really cool. It's great to see. We have other clients that are doing similar things. So Hyundai, Hyundai USA, and Mexico as well. They those 2 markets are using our technology and broadcasting most days of the week, and really getting customers that that up close view of their different models. Skoda Poland as well does more kind of almost tutorials around their products, so they'll do quite structured sessions, so you can go on their website and you'll see like, okay, this week we'll be talking at 12 o'clock about car seats, at 1 o'clock about the the Bluetooth connection, whatever. So like really getting you to understand everything that you can do with your car. And Volkswagen Portugal as well just launched last week.
Oh, yeah.
And for the new Golf, the new VW Golf, and showcasing that as well. So yeah, some really
Because
cool
all the events have been cancelled, right?
Exactly, yeah. So everyone's trying to find a way of demoing the new products without anyone being able to actually go and see them in person.
That's true. Well, as we talk about the Volkswagen, maybe you can tell us about the Volkswagen UK project.
Yeah, so Volkswagen UK, they came to us with a need for multiple brands. So what they've done is that they're taking both, so three brands. They've got Skoda, Seat, and Cupra, all using Whisbi. They're doing it all from the same location. It's a centralized team that are able to, talk about all of those different brands, and they're able to, bring leads from their main websites to these to this showroom, to this closed-off showroom, and attend those leads. Now, right now, of course, they had to move all of this to work from home. They don't have access to the vehicles, but they have those same agents that are able to field all of those questions. They've had a big surge in requests, of course, now for information about their vehicles. People are sat at home, they've got a bit more maybe disposable time, and that question that you have in the back of your mind, maybe it's time to upgrade my car, whatever it might be. They're now able to do that and speak directly with experts. The live video is being substituted for pre-recorded video of those models, but even in some cases, you could even use cars, models that you may have access to from a work from home environment. So we have discussions currently with a couple of US brands that are looking to do it from home, where presenters, where experts have a large enough garage space where they have where they're able to have the latest model delivered, or the model that they want to focus on, and do the broadcast from a work from home environment as well. So it's
Amazing.
it's very versatile. It's pretty cool stuff.
All right, and then the last example that we have for you today is about Vodafone and their retail stores project.
Yeah, so again, Vodafone Germany, they've had Whisbi for several years now, both from a call center and live from stores as well. So they've been enabling agents inside of stores to attend online leads. This is, of course, a great way of utilizing existing resources without having especially during periods when, let's say, people are not really inside of stores. So agents can easily choose to speak to or not to leads that come from online. So whenever they aren't busy with people inside the store, they can just answer the lead and they'll be able to speak to them and present live products to them and close deals. So those agents that were working in retail stores have now been moved, of course, to work from home, and they've been able to continue their work, even though they would not be able to work right now if it wasn't for that quick switch, and the fact that they had been using Whisbi up to that point, up to the point of the lockdown. So it was a very quick transition for them.
That's amazing. I guess many of you are maybe wondering, okay, this is all great for your existing customers, but can you actually, onboard us now? Like, can we start using
Yeah.
this now? I need it now,
Yeah, I mean, I won't. I definitely can't say that we have, tons of easy time here. Just chilling out, just waiting for people, and then be able to just do things in 5 seconds. It's not really like that. Obviously, we have a process to follow, and we would onboard you in the normal way. We have a lot of demand right now, so sign up quick, get into that queue. But yes, we can get you up and running
Like
relatively quick.
you don't need to go on site, like everything
No,
can be done
exactly. So
remotely.
the onboarding of your project and the launching of a project is ultimately down to the complexity. At this time right now, if you're especially keen to get started because of the coronavirus impact, we would recommend doing something nice and simple, super quick to launch, minimizing customization and integrations. And if that's an option for you, then we can be in a matter of weeks/days, depending on what product that you're looking to use with Whisbi, and we can get you live presenting, for example, with one-to-many in a very short space of time. Indeed, I think VW Portugal we managed to launch in a week. So
Wow,
those
that's
guys
impressive.
were able to live transmit that new Golf in a very quick time frame. So these things are all possible, and we're ready. We're here to help, and we're ready to look forward to helping out more customers, more companies, more enterprises in the coming weeks.
I'm already getting questions in from our viewers, Seb. There is one from Angelo Paterna. Thank you very much for your question. And he would like to know, is it possible to share registered video during a call?
To share,
I guess pre-recorded video.
pre-recorded, yeah, I understood that as well. So yes, it's possible. So you can stream, you can provide pre-recorded video. You can share anything that you can bring up on a browser. That's probably the best way to look at this, is that anything you can bring up on a browser, you can share with the customer live. So if you were to open up YouTube and hit play, that customer would then be able to see it. Of course, video it can be a little bit, you know, slower, especially if it's incredibly high quality, whatever it might be, and you're trying to transmit it in that way. But the only
You could also
bottleneck
share a
is
link, right,
your
through a
internet
messaging.
connection, and then link through your messaging if you want the customer to watch it in another browser. But I mean, I would recommend that you always keep the focus of the customer, share and drive that sharing through website sharing that you are controlling, and then you know that your customers' eyeballs are always on you and not sort of distracted by something else in another page.
It's true. I have another question from Angelo. Is it possible to schedule new appointments with customers through our solution?
Yes. So aside from just requesting an instant connect with customers, we can offer the option of scheduling a time slot. So, you know, maybe the customer would like to have a call later today, so they can plug in, you know, today's date and then choose an afternoon slot, for example. And then on the agent side, what happens is that the system will then offer up that lead to the agent interface at that time on that day, and one of the agents that's in that pool of agents will have to accept it, and then you're able to connect the customer with the agent.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. We have some really good product videos on our YouTube channel where you can have like a deeper look into how it actually works, like all these different features. But also, if you go to whisbi.com, you're going to see a bubble button pop up where you can connect to one of our agents right now in real time, and they can do a quick demo for you, no problem. All right, I think we've done a good job, Seb. I don't see any.
Yeah, I didn't see too much drop off throughout, so so that's cool. We didn't bore everybody to tears.
No, I try to keep it, you know, relevant and to the point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there are any more questions coming in. Okay. Question about integration. Do we integrate with any CRM systems? That's a good question.
Yes, of course. So ultimately, integrations are something that we do, you know, case by case. We will work with your teams to understand what it is that you're trying to do. So if it's important for you to have all your leads going into a specific CRM after we've dealt with them, or even beforehand, that's something that we are used to doing. You know, we've integrated with all sorts of CRMs, both sort of well-known platforms that everybody knows versus maybe in-house CRMs that have been built in a bespoke manner. Ultimately, if there's a way of sending that data through into that CRM, like whatever the door is there, then we'll knock on that door in the right way that you tell us to and deliver the data in the way that that is needed.
Nice.
So,
I have another question regarding that from David. Thank you, David. Is it possible to connect the solution to dealers, DMS, or CRM?
Yeah, so a little bit more like that, in the sense that we would have to analyze what it is that your current systems are doing. So we would do a technical discovery together, find out what it is that your system currently does with leads, what Whisbi will be utilized for. You know, will you be using Whisbi's chatbot feature, for example, that is collecting information from customers in an unassisted way and then sending it straight through to your CRM? That's something that we can do. We can consult web services so that we can visualize certain options for the customer within our interfaces. And we can also pull information into the agent customer agent session so that they can see information that the customer has maybe put in before connecting with the agent, and give that agent a little bit more understanding of where they are. They could greet them with a, hey, hey John, I see you're interested in the iPhone 11 Pro, because that customer had previously, earlier in the flow in the Whisbi session, had plugged in some of that information already. So these things are all possible. And again, it can be sent through to your CRM systems. It just really depends on your needs, and we can get super complex and custom, but of course then it becomes a highly customized project.
Okay, I had another question from Gaetano saying can be used as mandatory. I guess he was referring to what you were just saying, if this can be done as mandatory.
I'm not entirely sure if that's referring to fields, if that's referring to information that maybe you're asking before connecting with a customer. We can set certain data capture fields to be mandatory. I don't know if that was the question there.
Yeah, sorry Gaetano, if you can be a bit more specific, and if not, I hope we answered your question. We can come back to this. And
but maybe he's referring to whether it is mandatory to connect with CRM. If that's the question, then that's
he's
not the
asking
case.
if the fields are customizable. All right.
Yep, fields are customizable. The whole interface, the flow that you design it with us. So we choose a flow that works for your business and your use case, and ask the questions that matter to you and collect the information that matters to you to close deals.
Amazing. Well, Seb, thank you very much. I think you've answered a lot of questions, and you've really explained well, all the benefits that our customers see with using our solution, the Whisbi Assistant, and also the Whisbi Broadcast, to help their customers, especially in those times when everybody is trying to move their agents and enable them to work remotely, not just for profits and sales, but I think to save jobs as well, which is an important part. And also kind of a Whisbi mission to enable, different kinds of workforce, everybody can work. Sorry, I have another question. Okay, the last one. He's asking if I am a big brand, auto brand, with a lot of different shops and dealerships, can I have a master license for all the shops to manage them?
Yeah, I mean, as a manager, we have different types of user. So we would set it up so that we understand who is an administrator, who is an analyst that just needs access to data, who's a user, who is someone that is just going to be using the tool to interact with customers, like an agent. And yeah, like a master license, I imagine would be something like a full admin. So that administrator would then have access to all of that information, all of the stores, and be able to access all the performance of each one of their stores.
Yes. Okay, he's saying thank you, that everything is clear. So thank you, Seb, again. Cool. Guys, if you have any more questions, please just go to whisbi.com, connect to one of our agents. We can do a live demo for you, no problem. You can also reply to the email where you receive this invitation. We can help answer all your further questions and put you in touch with the right team at Whisbi, and get you, working from home. So thank you again to everybody, and thank you, Seb. Have a nice
No problem
rest
at all.
of the day.
It's been great. Thank you, Urshka, and thanks to everyone for attending.